discussions at the Pentagon. I don't know at what level this is. It just seems like it's informal discussions. I guess it's understandable they would have those discussions. It also, Scott, is it?
Look, I don't like this because what's Donald Trump supposed to think? You know, he's sitting down there, he's the president-elect, and now he's got to read in the newspaper tonight that the unelected bureaucracy of the federal government is having meetings at some level about how to thwart or countermand the commander-in-chief. I don't care if it's at the Pentagon or at the HUD or Ag Department. It doesn't matter. The unelected bureaucracy of this government answers to the civilian and duly elected leadership that we just did. And what if you were in his shoes and you just won the popular vote with a clear mandate, and now you got to read that these unelected bureaucrats are plotting against you? What would you think? If they have problems, let me finish. If they have problems, they should not have meetings that then leak to the press. If they have ideas or things, they should call the president's office and say, hey, we'd like to have some discussions for planning purposes. But secret meetings that leak, terrible way to get off to a start with the new administration.
Well, I agree that that's maybe not the best way to do it. However, Trump has set them up to be in this situation where they think that he's coming after them.
Happy Veterans Day, everyone. And I hope everyone in America, you guys are taking your time off. I hope you do have a day off. Maybe at least consolation. Maybe you get to leave early. Who knows? But I appreciate all the veterans that fought and risked their lives to allow us to have the rights to enjoy our freedoms here in America. With that out of the way, I'd like to talk about, I don't know, legacy, liberal media, and their continued meltdown throughout online. Like, as you saw from the intro, you have unelected bureaucrats. This is why I said Donald Trump, when these Democrats are talking about threats to democracy, no, the reality is that Donald Trump's a threat to bureaucracy. And the bureaucratic state, you know, many conservatives, we give it many names, the deep state. These people are nervous, right? Obama, look, this is a report. Obama is nervous about his legacy after Trump's victory, biographer says. I thought it was tone deaf and clueless for them to preach as they did, right? They're sitting there on their high horse. They're thinking they're the ish, right? Just like many liberals, right? You had Bill Maher sitting here saying, yeah, I know, I'm confident. Kamala Harris is going to win. Oh, you don't believe me? Let's take a look, because this is what I'm talking about. Well, you know, I get many comments in my comment section saying, Kenny, you're too negative on liberals. Kenny, that's some liberals. That's not all liberals. Not all liberals are condescending, Kenny. Not all liberals are arrogant. Not all liberals think this way. I understand this. I understand it. Trust me, I do. But the liberals that are shown to represent you, like Bill Maher, they are everything that I'm talking about. Everything that I'm talking about. These people, these panelists on CNN, they're everything that I talk about when I talk about liberalism and how essentially it allowed the party to get to the position where it is today, where it is so self-serving. They do this virtue signaling, because virtue signaling in a reality, it's self-serving. It's self-aggrandizing. Like, look how good I am. I have black friends, said liberal. Look how good I am. Even though I'm a different race than you, I care about your issues too. Virtue signaling is all self-aggrandizement. And when you see it in that context, you see these people as almost narcissistic. And this is why I always make this like joke, is a kind of like a half joke I make, is that, there should be a study with a correlation between liberalism and narcissism. Because these people can't seem to see past themselves. And Bill Maher is a big example of this.
The gap between when we repeat the mistake gets shorter and shorter. I mean, Trump was only president 4 years ago. And they seem to have completely have amnesia about what that was like.
Give us a few weeks. You never know. We still don't know if we're going to repeat that mistake.
Oh, we're not. I already put my marker down.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no.
Then it's a counterexample.
No, I'm not even worried about it.
That's good, okay.
You're not even worried about it?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, no. He's definitely going to lose. I hope you're right. You just feel it. You just feel it.
I hope you're right.
No, I said it weeks ago. And now the polls are, but the polls will be even on election day. I promise you. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. I don't think about it. Just don't think about it.
What do you think about it?
And then even if he does win, well, you wouldn't have gone through all that stress.
It's a better way.
There's this sense, right, that whiteness, right, is under threat. The demographic shifts. The country isn't what all of these racially ambiguous children on Cheerios commercials. are confusing the hell out of me.
Eddie, a lot of people voted because their life's too damn expensive, and it was here, and it
They
was
voted for. You're telling me, Stephanie, that all of these people who believe that their lives are, that bread is too high and eggs are too high, that they voted for a convicted felon, a guy who said we can grab the pea.
I think that a lot
They
of people,
voted for this
listen,
guy.
I'm not defending it, but I think there are tons of people that don't pay attention to, and I'm not defending it, don't pay attention to politics at all. But while we live in the most prosperous country in the world, people are saying, life's not fair, I'm not doing well, my son's still living in the basement, I can't seem to get a job, I don't like the status quo, I'm voting for something else, and he was
I
the person.
love you to life,
I love you,
but I do not believe that. I cannot believe that. And the reason I think you believe it is because you don't want to believe that that's what's really motivating them. It's always the case. People don't want to believe what the country actually is, because if they believe it, they're going to have to confront what's in them. I don't believe that. They voted for a crook, a person who they know is stealing from, just doing everything to undermine the so-called country that they love. And then they're telling us the BS that it's economics. We know that's not true.
First of all, I'm tired of these. Like this, professors like him was probably one of the reasons why I dropped out of college in the first place. Look at the lecturing this guy is getting, and he's from Princeton. Like this is why I say college is a liberal. Like that's the Democrat leftist church, right? Because a lot of these college educated people, this is why I say they're college indoctrinated. When you come from an institution, when you get your college degree from an institution, there's a 12-to-1 ratio. For every one conservative teacher you have, for every one conservative professor you have 12 liberal ones to outnumber him. And you wonder why many young people have this default into supporting Democrats in their initiatives. Because these professors, they want to ignore, no, it's not the fact that you're suffering through your day-to-day life. Like, make it make sense. Like, look how out of touch this individual is. He's saying that your everyday experiences, that don't matter compared to your racial hostility towards another race. And he's showing a very lot of racial hostility. This is why I said racism is consistent for everybody. This man, I believe he was racist. He's making all these negative assumptions about white people, about why people voted for a president. Even though the man has not been convicted of anything yet, all he got is charges. He's sitting here lying on television. But are they going to fact check him? No. But if Donald Trump makes a claim without evidence, they automatically say, oh, he's lying. FEMA's not withholding money from Trump supporters. After Trump wins the election, Daily Wire exposed FEMA officials instructing their people, their workers, to skip houses that have Trump signs outside their house. Isn't that convenient? And this is why I'm saying these people leverage fact checks so dishonestly, that this is why they lost credibility with me. This is why I say I can't trust a liberal. Many people on the left, and this is the reputation you have from an independent voter. I'm taking my ideological leanings out of it. As an independent voter, this is what I noticed about the Democratic Party. When they tell you something, it always seems like they leave out critical information that'll give it a more balanced view on the thing. It's almost like it's very suggestive of how they present the information. They're trying to lead you down a certain conclusion, and they don't want to tell you anything that can make you deviate from their conclusion that they're trying to walk you down. So I always have this idea that, you're trying to trick me into something, right? How can I give my consent to something if I fully don't understand what's going on? And this is one of the stances that I take when I present information. I try my best, my damn best, to highlight, hey, look, this is the trade-offs. Because at the end of the day, everything has trade-offs. There's no perfect solution. There's no perfect candidate. Everyone has their trade-offs, and people made the trade. Here's another narrative that I want to debunk, right? Kamala Harris had 3 times the money, 80% of the legacy media, because if you look at the legacy media, majority of the time, 87% of the time, they cover Donald Trump negatively. So that means the legacy media was behind her. 99% of Hollywood was behind her. If you see how much money that Kamala Harris spent on staff, it was half her budget. About $500 million was spent just on staff, while Trump only spent $10 million on his staff. And he destroyed you like that? And you still want to make, it's racism, it's this. Excuses. Excuses. And liberals like Bill Maher is what allow extreme leftists, far leftists like that professor to take hold of their party. They're listening to that professor and saying, yes, everything you said is right. Kamala Harris was a perfect candidate. No, she wasn't. She was clear. She wasn't clear. Like, people felt like, yo, it's the same thing I talked about earlier. That these people, it almost feel like they're not trying to be transparent with you. It's like they're trying to hide stuff from you. And this is the hypocrisy that many people call out time and time again, but the left don't listen. Yet they think they're supposed to be the ones in charge. Here's a story that I was talking about. They use fact checks as a weapon to cast doubt on someone's unproven claim. Like, end of the day, if I make a claim, hey, Lakers ain't going to win the championship. New York Times come out, fact check. Can he make false claims that the LA Lakers is not going to win an NBA championship without evidence? The NBA season has only been around for 5 weeks, so making this statement is empirically false. Right? They will make some dumb statement like that when all I'm just saying is I'm making a claim. And then a year later, when the Lakers don't win a championship, I'll be proven right. This is exactly what Trump is doing. But this is how they play the fact check. Make it make sense. Exclusive. Female official ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs. If you was on X, you know this stuff is true. You see claims. People say, yo, these people are avoiding us. There are people that don't want to listen to us. These people are ignoring us. The Democrats, bro, y'all really did it to yourselves. Democrats, please stop telling us how much it's going to cost to deport the illegals. We didn't hear a single word from you about how much it costs to maintain open borders. We spent $451 billion last year on illegal immigrants. We spent $150 billion in the past 2 years on Ukraine. Whatever it's cost to fix this, it's what it's going to cost. However, I highly doubt that Trump is going to spend $100 billion to deport people. I'm pretty sure he's going to do it much cheaper, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, like the left trying to lead you down a certain conclusion, right? I remember Donald Trump just finished electing a border czar, Tom something. I forgot his name. I'll probably put a clip of him soon in the video. But this is the kind of narrative that they try to do, right? They try to present and frame things in a negative light that they don't agree with. And when they do agree with something, or they agree with a purview of a candidate, they make everything about that candidate so positive. All you have to do is look at the media coverage. Look at the media research coverage on them. 87% of media coverage on Kamala Harris was positive. But look how massively she lost. How can that be? It means you don't have the trust of the American people anymore. And these people, instead of reflecting on that, instead of reconciling with that, they continue doubling, tripling, like they triple down. And it's infuriating to me, right? So here's an example of what I'm talking about.
I spoke to the president-elect on the phone 48 hours after his victory and asked him what he believes his mandate is. He told me it's to bring common sense back to the country. As for day one, he told me, I think we have a lot of firsts, and brought up strengthening the border. I pressed him on the price tag of his mass deportation plan, which experts say could be in the billions. He told me, quote, it's not a question of price tag. Really, we have no choice. When people have killed and murdered, they're not staying here. There is no price tag.
And I want to stop her there, right? It's not a question of price tag. We really have no choice. Americans believe this. 54% of Americans said that they want mass deportation. I've been saying this throughout my channel ever since I found that stat. I say, yo, majority of people want mass deportation. Kamala Harris is not offering that in her policy platform, but the Democrats will make excuses. It's because she's a woman. Smack. Like, you guys don't listen. Liberals don't listen, right? You got Obama out here worrying about his legacy because he said that Trump was going to lose. 2015, he said at least he'll go down as president, and then Trump became president and Obama quiet, right? These people are so desperate now. They're making these ideas, like these weird ideas, like have Joe Biden resign so Kamala Harris can be president for a month. Like, make it make sense. Like, this is the kind of people you leftists are. Like, y'all can say, oh, Kenny, you trying to frame liberals in a negative light, but all I do is play what y'all say. That's all I do.
Is looking for. That is my question. I'll start with you. Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala.
This is how they see the presidency. Just a position to exact our power, just a position to push our worldview on the American people, and they find any path that they can to make what they want a reality. America rejected Kamala Harris, and instead of accepting that, they'll say, no, you know what would be a good idea? Have Joe Biden resign, also another unpopular candidate, to allow Kamala to be president for a month. You think the American people are going to look at that favorably? If Democrats, I'm sorry I didn't let him finish, but this is a warning to Democrats. If you do that, if I was I am an American voter, but if I, let's say I had control over 77 million people who voted, I would never elect a Democrat if y'all do this. That's a warning. That's a warning. If y'all do this, I'm gonna be don't give me no more energy to vote against y'all. If you do this, this will piss off every American in the country. We made history, y'all. No. And I don't know if Joe Biden's gonna let it slide. Hey, Jill, I'm rooting for you, Jill. I'm rooting for you, Jill. Don't let him do it.
Kamala Harris, the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat, and it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see. Is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective.
Look how happy
of how
they are.
Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
is now jumped from an.
Especially the black lady in the red. Look how happy she is. You want that? You want some symbolism that bad? And you wonder why y'all vote so loyally to the Democratic Party. And then when black people who don't agree with, like me and my father, when we go, nah, Democrats, they don't have our best interests at heart. Hey, we need to be swing voters. These are the same people who tell you, oh no, we need to vote. We need to stick together. We need to vote together. Who that benefits? It don't benefit the black people. It benefits Democrats. You want who wants that?
Internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's
He is looking for.
It's craziness. You lose an election, landslide, and you think it's a good idea. You think it's a good idea to play identity politics with the presidency of the United States of America. These people treat the presidency like a participation trophy. And honestly, it pisses me off, right? It pisses me off. This is why I said the 2024 election was a referendum on identity politics. No one going for it no more. Nobody's going for it no more. Check out this. This is a kid in high school. Look at the stuff he has to go through. Like, this was probably me 10 years ago, all right? I digress. I want to play a little clip of this before I end off the video because I think it's important to see what kind of discussions is happening in our schools over the fact that they lost and they can't accept that they lost. Let's take a look.
What right is he taking away from women? He don't like your race. He will spit on you. He don't even like what right is he taking away from women? He don't like y'all. He don't like none of us. He don't even like his own race. What right is
he don't even like his own race. Look at what they're just being fed stuff. Like no thinking from themselves, and they have the goal to look at Trump supporters and say, "Oh, you guys are ignorant. You guys don't know nothing." But then you ask them questions from them, and they're in the same boat as you. Like make it make sense. But they're so sure of themselves. This is emotional voting right here. Hey, shout out to the young man for standing his ground. I'll let it play out.
We answered that. You're just dumb. Like 5 minutes. What was the answer? We answered it. Y'all brought up education once I asked that question. Because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Y'all just go on Twitter, look at what they say, and just run with it. Myron, you go on Twitter. I watched the debate. I heard everything. Y'all thought he was taking away abortions. He can't even do that. Myron, what debate did you watch? He's so stupid. Yes, please look at the Chromebook. So I want to see what right he
I don't
taking.
look
Let
at
me
no
search it
crime,
up.
but look at
What
the
right?
face, but look
Let's
at
see
the
what
face.
right he's taking away from
Go look
women.
at what he's saying
Let's see
now.
what right he's taking away from women. Let's watch it.
Okay, let's see what he's giving you when he is president.
No, what right is he taking away from women?
Let's see what he's doing for
Because they said that last time.
The right to an abortion was over.
And y'all also said Project 25. He also said publicly he's not going to do no Project 25.
He's a liar. Do you believe him?
He's a liar. Do you believe him? But y'all believe him when he said he's going to ban abortion? Like, y'all can't have it both ways. Either you believe, if he said this out of his own mouth, either you believe Donald Trump's going to do it or you don't. And what about y'all guys' lies? Like, this is what I'm talking about. That's why I led up with all that stuff in the beginning before I reacted to this video. Is that Trump said, "Oh, look, FEMA's ignoring Trump supporters. Oh my God, that's a false claim without evidence." And then a couple months after he wins, a couple days after he wins the presidency, investigative journalists drop info saying that officials were instructed to skip Trump houses with Trump signs on it. But y'all already called him a liar, though. This is all assumptions, accusations. This is all conjecture. But they believe that the world revolves around them. This is why I say that there needs to be a psychological study on liberals or people who vote Democrat and see if they have some form of narcissism or self-centeredness, some self-centered traits, because they literally think the world revolves around their purview.
Y'all only want Kamala Harris.
Your body, my choice. That's what did.
Why do you need an abortion? Why do you care about abortion? You're in high school.
It doesn't matter.
You're in high school.
Women get pregnant. Women our ages get
Is she about to cry?
Is you getting pregnant? Is you getting pregnant? Did you get pregnant once?
I shouldn't have to fear that though.
Are you even you're probably a virgin.
He said, "You probably a virgin."
Abortion is never one of y'all lists. We got wars. People trying to have war with us, and y'all worried about abortion. You know, when they slow, y'all worried about abortion. Y'all not even having sex. Like, look at y'all.
It don't matter if we was.
It don't matter if he was.
Yeah, let's focus on that. People don't want to talk about how Trump is a good president. What's wrong with voting for Trump?
We could, well, just listen, that we could still be friends after the election. I said, no, we can't.
You stop being friends with us because they voted for Trump? Teacher, I'm way more.
He's saying you can still be respectful and that you can still have mutual terms with that person despite others having different
What are you
sides
talking
to
about?
other.
He just said his friends, those that he hang with, and correct me if I'm wrong. You said they asked you is you still gonna be cool after this? Right or wrong. So what are you talking about, ma'am?
No, that, again, let's not single anybody out, Myron.
No, because he said that's not what you said. I'm like, what are you talking about?
She said anything.
Everybody entitled to their own opinion now.
Right. So
Right.
why would you cut somebody off because they voted for Trump?
He didn't say. Well, he can
But
be.
you can't dominate the discussion.
I never said you cut.
If you want to have some input to the dialogue, then you have to do so in a respectful manner and to be tolerant of each other's views.
That's not tolerance.
Now, just because I think I expected that our country citizens were more decent.
Does that sound tolerant to you? That our country, I was expecting our country and citizens to be more decent, according to what? According to what? Leftist, you're a liberal leftist, you're likely not religious, Christian, whatever. So you're basing decency based on your own subjective purview, which is moral relativism. Because you think it's right, you believe it's right. You believe something is decent. You believe the decent thing to do is vote for Kamala Harris. It's not the objectively decent thing to do. The decent thing to do here is to respect the decision that other people made to do and not treat them any differently because they made a choice that differs from yours. Because I choose to buy an Android phone does not give you the right to call me indecent because you think the only decent choice is to get an Apple phone. Like this is baffling to me. That these are the kind of people that's educating our kids. And you wonder why people who voted for Trump wants the Department of Education disbanded. Because we can't stand this politicized crap that you're pushing on our kids.
If they voted for Trump, they're not?
Yes.
What?
He's a messed up person.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Our citizens not decent because they voted for Trump?
You have your views.
You hear that? According to a liberal, majority of people in America are not decent people because y'all voted for Trump. He don't care if he's the minority. He believes y'all should be doing things his way. Doesn't that sound like a tyrant? Doesn't that sound like a dictator? Oh, even though the majority disagrees with me, I still believe we should do this, and we'll do everything in our power to obstruct Donald Trump. That's why I led up with that video, the clip with Scott Jennings in the beginning. Because these people actually feel like, yo, you only have a right to be a liberal and nothing else. This is the position of liberalism. And through their actions, they validate that theory of mine time and time and time again. I'll let the video play out.
I'm entitled to mine.
But that's why you cut them off,
So
because you don't
if I have
correlate.
friends that tell me that, oh, MAGA, 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 I can't be friends with them.
Because he voted for Trump.
Exactly.
What? You don't get it. It's
Some
like you
people
don't
can't have
surround
their
yourself
own
by
opinion.
somebody who
Trump
doesn't.
is a good president. Some of y'all are blindsided by what y'all hear on the internet.
I mean. But they're supposed to, oh, we're voting for decency. We're voting for unity. Does that sound like a unifying message to you? I'm glad Kamala Harris didn't win. And every day, every video I see of liberals reacting online validates that choice every single time. People ask me, Kenny, do you regret voting for Donald Trump because of this reason? I say, yo, no one's perfect. Those reasons are trade-offs that I made for these reasons. For Make America Healthy Again. For putting people in there that actually is not going to be buddy-buddy with the bureaucracy, but it's actually going to sit there and be like, yo, y'all not doing your jobs, you're fired. Right? I come from some accountability. I want some change. I want some reform. And Trump's is going to do it. Your candidate didn't offer me any reform. She offered me more of the same. She said, we're going to get the same Joe Biden. We're going to get Joe Biden policies, but it's going to be a mixed woman this time. You can change the packaging of bad policies, but bad policies are still bad policies. And that's what I voted against. But instead of reconciling with that, you want to make excuses. Oh, Kenny, you didn't vote for her because she's a woman. Kenny, you didn't vote for her because she's black. She's not black. I'm like, no. Her policies, what she has to offer, it doesn't appeal to me. And I voted. And it seemed like it didn't appeal to most Americans that voted that day. But instead of accepting that, y'all trying to make excuses. Y'all trying to find alibis to excuse yourselves of personal accountability. I'm glad y'all didn't win. I'm happy y'all didn't win. And every reaction I see, every meltdown that I see online only validates my choice that, yes, it was a correct decision to vote for Donald Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.